This is because the ability of a firm to control the market and operate at a point that doesn't make sense.
All right.
Hi, my name is Malvika.
And my name is Jana, and we are students studying the wonderful subject of economics. Economics, as a social science, is the study of human beings and the social systems to see how they organize their activities to satisfy their basic needs.
Unfortunately, in reality, the world has a finite number of resources, but an infinite number of wants. And as a result, the fundamental economic problem that all societies face is scarcity.
If markets are free and competitive, then the outcome is socially desirable, which is being allocatively efficient. However, in the real world, the conditions necessary for producing the right amount of goods from society's point of view is not always present.
Today, we are going to give an ultimate crash course on the market failure of imperfect competition. Basically, a 1-hour class in 10 minutes. So, what is a market failure?
Good question, Malvika.
A market failure is when the market fails to allocate resources efficiently or the inability to provide goods and services most wanted by the society, the social optimum. The dictionary definition is when the market fails to produce efficient outcomes, and in particular, the failure of the price mechanism to achieve an optimum allocation of resources.
The price mechanism is the process by which prices rise and fall due to changes in supply and demand of the industry. Signals and incentives are given to producers and consumers whether to produce more or produce less, or consume more or consume less.
So, what is imperfect competition, Jana?
Well, Malvika, markets are often not competitive as firms may possess significant monopoly power. A monopoly is a type of market structure where there is a single dominant firm in the market for a product and where there are high barriers of entry to ensure that the position of the single seller can be preserved. High barriers to entry means that it's difficult for other firms to enter or exit the industry. According to our wonderful Trajiki's textbook, monopoly power is the ability of a firm or group of firms to control the price of a product they sell. As seen in the graph, the firm is operating under profit maximizing level. This is shown by the marginal cost equaling the marginal revenue. Thus, the monopoly is making abnormal profits, shown by the green shaded area on the graph.
When monopoly power is present, less than the social optimum of the goods will be produced and consumed. Therefore, fewer optimal resources will be implied in its production. This is because the ability of the firm to control the market and operate at a point may not be at the socially optimum level. The prices are higher and the quantity of the output produced is low.
Firms can raise the price of its products above its marginal cost, leading to a welfare loss. The welfare loss is due to loss of consumer and producer surplus.
But first, what is producer and consumer surplus? Producer surplus is the excess of actual earnings a producer makes from selling a given quantity of output that is above the amount the producers are willing to accept for that output. Basically, they're making a lot more. Consumer surplus is when the consumers pay less for a good than what they are willing and able to pay. They're paying less.
However, in this graph, it shows how there is a welfare loss in a monopoly structure. The yellow triangular region shows the loss of consumer surplus, and the green region shows the loss of producer surplus.
So basically, in economics for dummies language, because some firms are more powerful than the others, they can alter prices to suit their selfish wants and not necessarily take into account society's wants and what is best for society. Why is imperfect competition a market failure?
Well, Malvika, that's because imperfect competition results in a market failure because there is an inefficient allocation of resources due to the dominant firm being able to raise its price. Monopolies are able to do this because they are price makers. Price makers are firms that have the power to dictate the price that it charges for its products. Monopolies control the market supply, but not the market's demand.
There are other drawbacks due to monopoly power, but that's for another lesson. Now that is called the theory of the firm. For now, we're just focusing on the market failure of imperfect competition.
In order for you to really understand what we've been saying since the beginning of the video, let's look at a real-life example of imperfect competition.
How exciting! How exciting!
How exciting!
On January 2011, China fined the giant French and US retailers Carrefour and Walmart up to 500,000 yuan for lying about the price of their goods. They were charged with overstating their discounts or charging higher prices than what was labeled or advertised.
So, in order to help the market failure, the government does what it always does: intervene.
There are several methods of government interventions. Governments may try to have a regulatory body investigate practices that may seem anti-competitive. When these large firms collude or work together, they are either charged higher taxes or fined, just like the example of Walmart and Carrefour that we gave above.
Governments can break the large firm into smaller independent firms. On the plus side, they are given a sum of money for their hard work, and they are also able to own some large firms, the government that is. When these imperfect competition situations occur, the main goal for authorities is to make sure no mergers or acquisitions materialize, because this can only increase a firm's monopoly power.
Another one of the many methods are antitrust legislations, wherein authorities allow for the company to only control a certain portion of the industry or market. So less monopoly power, basically.
The government may attempt to liberalize international trade, which automatically increases competition and efficiency, and it lowers prices. When we say liberalize international trade, we mean to allow for the free exchange of goods between countries. So that's it!
Thank you for watching, and we hope you learned a 1-hour class worth of imperfect competition as a market failure in 10 minutes or less.
We don't know. Bye!
Bye-bye!